Welcome to the final session of the CH4B Business Masterclass Series. This series is giving you 6 lots of theory and practical combined, which will allow you to start scaling your business through proven strategic topics. In the first 5 sessions, we've already covered the Disney strategy for creative problem solving, creating a business vision with insights from NASA, crafting a business value proposition or elevator pitch where we looked at Netflix. We've looked at business purpose and we took inspiration from Google. And in the last session, we looked at target markets and how Amazon have adapted and evolved. In this final session, we will be bringing you how to build a recognizable brand like Apple. I'm Chris Galt, Client Services Director and Strategic Business Coach and Master NLP Practitioner. In today's session, we're going to learn the difference between brand and branding. I'm going to ensure that you understand that the perception, feeling and experience Apple created for their audience so that you can take that into identifying how you can create your own brand for your business. And there will be an interactive exercise that you can practice back in your business as well. Finally, I'll end by telling you how you can get in touch if you have further comments, questions or queries. In business, we need to be effective at connecting with others, which is why we covered our target market in the previous masterclass session. We need to be able to lead them towards a destination and solution which is valuable to them. But your presence and communication with your target market comes even before you speak to someone. And to be effective in this communication, you need to be on brand. So let's explore this. Let's have a look at both brand and branding and see what's similar and also, while similar, where the differences are. Branding is the intentional effort you put into shaping and managing the perception people have of your business. It is how you communicate the image or identity you create for your brand. Branding extends to logos, fonts, colours, the tone of voice and feel of what the company is telling you about them. There is a fine art in being able to shape your brand and how others perceive it. Anytime you're seen communicating with your audience, you are branding. Branding is the art of being able to portray what you represent and express a personality and purpose. It's when you have a connection between your brand strategy and brand identity. Branding is part of the big picture in shaping your business and how people see you. So have you ever asked yourself why branding is important? Well, let's look at 3 reasons why branding is important to your business. Number 1 is that branding makes your company different from others. It helps the customer identify that they are dealing with you and not someone else. Once your branding is known, it gives the customer that reassurance that they are dealing with the company of their choice. You are aiming for the customer to feel good in dealing with you, and your brand is their green light that they are safe. The second reason is that branding makes you recognizable through your individual and unique visual image. It is not just about what you look like, however. You need to have a consistent level of customer service and deliver a consistent level of expectation. This applies to all your advertising and social media channels. It also applies to your tone of voice. So think about how you come across to your customers. Is it consistent everywhere in your business? And number 3 is branding builds customer loyalty. People deal with companies they know and trust. If a customer recognizes your brand as a trusted company that does everything it claims to do and is consistent on its promises to deliver, the brand will have a community of loyal followers. So now let's have a look at the term brand, so we can see the difference between branding and a brand. They are similar, but it is important to know that there are some differences. Your brand identity can be formed according to your strategy and your branding goals. We have seen that branding is the process of shaping how you want your customer to see you. A brand is the personality of your business. It is how people see and recognize you. A brand is the experience with a company and how it makes a customer feel. It gives the customer an immediate association of what they can expect from a business in terms of value and service. It is an expectation and a promise to its customers of the value and pleasure it will bring following a purchase or experience. It is the intangible emotional connection between a company and its customers. If you see a brand you like, for example, this will give you a good feeling. However, if you have had a bad experience with one, you won't feel so good. Think about a time that this has happened to you recently. In the book Principles of Marketing by Philip Kotler and Gary Armstrong, this simple definition for brand is given. Brand is a name, term, sign, symbol, or combination of these that identifies the maker or seller of the product. In simple terms, your brand can be considered your reputation. Brand is the feeling, experience, or perception created when your branding is seen or heard. People often ask, is brand just a logo? A logo is just part of what makes up the overall feeling of a customer experience. It is the symbol or emblem. It is what the customer sees and not what they feel. A logo is part of the brand identity or branding. Brand identity could include colour palette and font and header styles in all the company presentations, not just the logo. The logo makes people remember your brand, their expectations and how they feel. It is your unique, recognisable mark. So what comes first? Is it branding or the brand? Well, externally, branding needs to come first. Branding is shaping the perception your customer will have of your business. Branding is what gives your company that feeling when a customer sees your brand. Your brand follows on from your branding and is the actual perception people have of your business. However, you must remember your brand is your reputation. If you know the brand or reputation you want to have, then when creating your branding, you should ensure everything you do will give others that feeling. Therefore, internally in your business, brand comes first. There are 3 different types of brand. A corporate or company brand. Now, a company or corporation should have a brand of its own. All companies have a reputation, some good and some not so good. The winning formula is to build a positive reputation and make sure as many people as possible know about it. When you think about the following companies, what immediately springs to mind? Let's take Vodafone. You may have the perception and feeling that everything comes together with Vodafone and that combined technology allows everyone to achieve. What about Apple? It gives you a sense of lifestyle, that dreams are possible and that there is hope as we develop. And then there's Nike. Makes you feel empowered. With their products you can just do it and achieve success. Anything is possible. Now, the reputations of these companies don't exist by accident. They exist on purpose and are a result of smart branding and knowing the brand that they wanted to communicate through that branding. Apple, for example, wants you to feel important when you're holding and using their products. They want you to experience a high quality lifestyle and have a sense of sophistication and elegance. One of Apple's most powerful TV adverts contained no spoken word. It was simply a close-up of someone peeling back the film from the screen of a brand new Apple phone, followed by the Apple logo in the centre of the screen. This imagery was presented in such a way that the whole audience experienced the feelings of an Apple lifestyle. They were experiencing and feeling the brand. Next is product branding. Even though a company has its own brand, so can the products it produces. For example, Apple has MacBooks, iPhones and iPads, which can then have subcategories such as the iPad Air, iPad Mini and iPad Pro. Each individual product has its own brand identity and reputation, many which start with the small I followed by a capital letter. This is the branding style. Would it benefit your company to have its products individually and separately branded? You may have several products or services that you market. What reputation do they have? How would your entire company benefit if some products developed their own brands, related to but separate from the overall company brand? Next, you have personal branding. People buy from people. Within a company or organisation, there may be people that also have personal brands. Think of Virgin and Richard Branson, two brands related but separate, and each brand has its own followers and fans. The same could be said about Apple and Steve Jobs. Making sure you understand how your personal brand can complement your product and/or company brand is important. As I said before, people buy from people. People like them. Therefore, what you represent in your own reputation can and will impact your product and/or the company. So let's look at building your brand. Let us imagine we're starting a business. It is a cleaning company called Homemade. Names are not always important and do not necessarily have to have an association with what you do. It should at the very least be memorable though, and not similar to one of your competitors. First, thinking about branding. How do we want customers to feel when they see our name? They want to have confidence in hearing our name, which has a good reputation and lots of 5-star reviews. Their feeling of us are going to be triggered on how we appear and come across to our customers. So what does the name look like? Is it a trademark design that is instantly recognisable, or would we prefer just a word? Are we a serious formal business, or more of a casual fun business with a sense of humour? If we were in a profession such as a law firm or bank, we should come across a bit more formal. Therefore, our branding and how we look needs to be subtle and quiet. For a cleaning company, it's more acceptable to look relaxed, and you can have some fun with your designs and the social media content that you use. Consider your vision. The vision could be for customers to see us as a reliable, a breath of fresh air to deal with, and to be trustworthy. Maybe the logo could be simply crisp and clean. These are all associations with a cleaning brand that we want to convey. So there are many elements to consider when building a brand. Let's run through the main things that we should think about and we need to tick off. Who is the typical Homemade customer or audience? Are we aiming at domestic cleaning or industrial or both? Who are our competitors? Let's make sure we stand out from the competition and have a uniqueness about us. Let's be clear on our purpose and position in the market. This goes back to deciding if we want to target domestic or industrial cleaning or both. Be clear on what you do and what it is you're offering. And what is Homemade's personality? Are we an ultra-friendly, happy business to work with? If so, we need to make sure our behaviour reflects this, from the way we answer the phone to how we speak to our customers. The overall look and feel is the voice of the company. What's our backstory? What inspired us to start the business? Did we spot a gap in the market that we thought only we could fill? People love the human element behind a business, so this needs to have pride of place on the website. People deal with the people, not the companies. So our own personality needs to be in sync with our business's personality. We've already chosen a name, which is Homemade. The name is not vitally important, but if the name describes what you do, make sure it's memorable. Write a slogan. also called a strapline, often just 3 words that empower the main company name and elevates the business. Design the look of the brand and the logo. This can take time, but in Homemade's example, the letters could be turned into cleaning appliances, like M could look like a house. We need to make sure no competitor has anything similar. Create a style guide. This means having complete continuity throughout all our marketing, website and social media. If we want a feeling of relaxed and friendly, then the colours and designs need to run throughout everything we do. If it doesn't work, don't be afraid to rebrand. It is crucial to get things right. So if we find we're not attracting the right customer, it is okay to tweak the logo or the colour palette, for example. It's a good idea to test it out first before making further mistakes, and ask for some feedback from trusted colleagues and even customers to see what they think. So in summary, let's summarise the difference between the meanings of branding and brand. Branding is part of the big picture in shaping your business, and it's the creative process of designing the perception that people have of the business. It is how you communicate your brand through your colouring, logo, marketing, and your language used, etc. Brand or brand identity is the personality of your brand. It's how people see and recognise you, and it's the perception and feeling they get, your reputation. It's the difference between who you are and how you want to be remembered. You should have a clearly defined brand and make sure this is shared throughout your organisation to ensure it is being communicated, including in your vision, purpose, and other forms of communication, which we covered throughout this masterclass. So let's test this through an interactive exercise. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to pause this recording. And first, I want you to write down what that feeling or experience is that you want to give others. This is the start of your brand. Next, using the ideas we've covered during this whole masterclass series about creating the feeling and imagery in the mind of what you want people to experience, about highlighting the value that you provide first. Go back to your value proposition from the previous masterclass sessions, or take your vision and purpose that you set out and ask if it speaks your brand. Is it giving the feeling and experience you want others to perceive? Spend 5 to 10 minutes updating the language that you have used, and then we'll have a look at what you've come up with. It's time to pause the video now and just take 10 minutes to practice this exercise. Go back through your vision, your purpose, your value proposition, and make sure that it's speaking the brand, the feeling and the experience you want your customers to have. And I'll see you back in 10. So welcome back. What did you come up with? Is the brand you want to be known for, your reputation, being communicated effectively in what you do and what you say? Try getting others to give their perspective, and then use what you have learned to reflect on all your internal and external touch points within your branding to ensure that they are communicating your brand effectively. And remember, this whole masterclass series has been designed for you to be able to take away your learnings and practically apply them to your business. So with that in mind, what are your learnings from this and the previous masterclasses? What are you taking away from these sessions? How can you see yourself using these in your business? And to make sure you're going to follow through, what commitments are you making today? If you've got any other questions, thoughts or comments from watching today's session or any of the previous sessions in this 6 series masterclass, then get in touch with us at CH4B Central Hub for Business. You can email us at hello@ch4b.co.uk or visit our website, and we will help you and your business as you continue to scale and grow for success.